Hi, the question will appear on your screen in few seconds. Please pause this video to solve the question on your own, and once you are done, resume the video to check the solution. Here is the question. Let's now start with passage analysis. Many industrialized nations, so we are talking about many multiple industrialized nations, are trying to reduce atmospheric concentrations of carbon dioxide. So, what are these nations trying to do? They are trying to reduce the atmospheric concentration of carbon dioxide. That is how much carbon dioxide is present in the atmosphere. They are trying to reduce that concentration. A gas released by the burning of fossil fuels. So, this is a description of carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is a gas released by the burning of fossil fuels. Now, this description also tells us one of the ways in which carbon dioxide is produced or released into the atmosphere, that is by burning of fossil fuels. Let's read further. One proposal is to replace conventional cement, which is made with calcium carbonate, by a new eco cement. So, what is this proposal for? This proposal is for achieving this goal of reducing atmospheric concentration of carbon dioxide. What does it say? It says that we have this conventional cement, replace it with this new eco cement, as a result of which we should be able to reduce the atmospheric concentration of carbon dioxide. That is what the proposal says. Now, how this will happen, we do not know. What we know is that this conventional cement is made with calcium carbonate. But the reasoning is still not clear. What if it is made with calcium carbonate? Why the switch will help reduce the atmospheric concentration of CO2. Let's read further. This new cement, so now we are talking about this new eco cement made with magnesium carbonate. Okay, so this one was made with calcium carbonate, this one is made with magnesium carbonate. So definitely the ingredients are different. We do not know everything about all the ingredients, we do not know the complete list of ingredients, their concentration, but we know that because we are talking about calcium carbonate here and magnesium carbonate here, maybe these are playing a major role, or this is the difference between these two cements. All right, now this new cement made with magnesium carbonate absorbs large amount of carbon dioxide when exposed to the atmosphere. All right, so this particular cement, this will absorb large amount of carbon dioxide when exposed to the atmosphere. Now this seems to be connecting to the ultimate result, that this is how maybe the proposal thinks that because this eco cement will absorb large amount of CO2, that is how it will help reduce the atmospheric concentration of CO2. All right, let's read further. Therefore, so we have our conclusion marker here. Using eco cement for new concrete building projects will significantly help reduce atmospheric concentrations of carbon dioxide. So, this is our conclusion, which in a way we were also arriving at using this logic, using the proposal that has been given, that okay, replace this conventional cement with this new eco cement. This eco cement absorbs large amount of carbon dioxide, and that is how it will help reduce the atmospheric concentration of CO2. Another word to be noted here is significantly help. So it is not just a minor influence or a minor help, it is significant help. All right, so that is what the passage tells us. The logic is very clear, that this eco cement absorbs large amount of CO2. So in a way, it will help reduce CO2 concentration in atmosphere by absorbing it, and that is how it will reduce the atmospheric concentration. All right, now what can be the logical gap here? The logical gap is that okay, we know that it can absorb large amount of CO2, that is how it can help reduce CO2 concentration, but are we sure that it does not increase atmospheric concentration of CO2 in some other way? What if, let's say, 1 unit of cement absorbs maybe 100 units of CO2, significant absorption, but it also produces 500 units of CO2, right? So this is a logical gap. Second logical gap is because we are talking about a switch here, and we know that this eco cement, it absorbs large amount of CO2. So the author by default considers that this conventional cement, it absorbs less CO2 compared to eco cement, but we have not been given any reason to believe this. What if conventional cement also absorbs almost equivalent CO2, or it absorbs maybe more CO2 than eco cement. In that case also, our conclusion will not be valid. So with these logical gaps, let's proceed to updating our bridge analysis. So if you understood the passage logic and the conclusion's meaning correctly, you can mark a tick here. However, if you missed anything in the passage understanding, if you did not understand the meaning, if you did not understand the logic, you can mark a cross here and write down the exact reason here. You rushed through it, you missed a word, you misunderstood something, you could not simplify a complex statement, whatever it is. You can write the exact reason here. And if you did not understand the meaning of the conclusion correctly, or you were not able to identify the conclusion correctly, then you can mark a cross here and again write down the exact reason here. These will be your root causes behind the mistake. With this, let's proceed to understanding what the correct answer choice should convey. Now, what should the correct answer choice convey? The question then says, which of the following, if true, most strengthens the argument? So we have to find a strengthener. Now, a strengthener will bring in a new piece of information and it will increase our belief in this conclusion. So the correct answer choice will bring in a new piece of information that will convey that the use of eco cement for new concrete buildings, that is, the use of eco cement instead of the conventional cement, will significantly help reduce atmospheric concentrations of carbon dioxide. Now, if you want to pre-think some scenarios, you can pre-think scenarios here. For example, one scenario can be that the eco cement does not produce significant amount of CO2. The second scenario can be that the conventional cement absorbs much less CO2 compared to the eco cement. Now, thinking about these scenarios is a part of pre-thinking. If you do not pre-think, you can stop here. This exercise of thinking about what the correct answer choice should convey, it just tells you again, it just reminds you of what you should be looking for in the correct answer choice. And here you are ready to go to the answer choices right away. Even if you do not pre-think, you have a good understanding of what you should be expecting from the correct answer choice, and you can proceed to answer choice analysis. Now, with this, let's update our bridge table. If your understanding of what the correct answer choice needs to convey was correct, you can mark a tick here. However, if you missed this step or your understanding was not correct, you can mark a cross here and write down the exact reason here. With this, let's proceed to choice A. Choice A, the cost of magnesium carbonate. So magnesium carbonate is being used in eco cement. The cost of magnesium carbonate currently greater than the cost of calcium carbonate. So this is being used in eco cement, this is being used in conventional cement. If the cost of magnesium carbonate is currently greater than the cost of calcium carbonate, it is possible that the eco cement, it may be costlier than conventional cement currently, right? Now, probably the cost of magnesium carbonate, which is currently greater than the cost of calcium carbonate, probably will fall as more magnesium carbonate is used in cement manufacture. So in future, this cost will fall, probably fall. So EC may not continue to be costlier than the conventional cement. This is what this choice conveys. This is the meaning of this choice. So first step in answer choice analysis should be understanding the meaning. Now you have to understand the impact of this choice. So this choice is conveying this possibility that the eco cement may not continue to be costlier than conventional cement if it is costlier right now. Okay, so this is a good thing. You'll think that, okay, that then this is a positive thing about EC. It will be easier to use, it will be more practical to use. That is all fine. But does this make you believe that use of EC will significantly help reduce atmospheric concentration of carbon dioxide? The answer is no. So this choice does not convey what the correct answer choice needs to convey. And that is why it is incorrect. It does not support the conclusion. Now, with this, let's update our bridge table. If you selected choice A, then was your understanding of the meaning of choice A correct? You could have faltered here. If that was the case, write down the reason. Or did you gauge the alignment? Did you check that this choice matches what the correct answer choice needs to convey? If you did, then you need to understand what went wrong there. If you did not do that, this is the second step of answer choice analysis. If you did not do this, then this is something that you need to incorporate in your process. You always have to Think what the correct answer choice needs to convey and then match the answer choice with that expectation. So if you faltered here, write down the exact reason, that why were you not able to gauge this alignment? Why were you not able to identify whether this choice conveys what the correct answer choice needs to convey? With this, let's move to choice B. Choice B. Eco-cement is strengthened when absorbed carbon dioxide reacts with cement. All right. So we know that eco-cement absorbs carbon dioxide. Now this is from the premise. This is from the passage. We know this. Now this choice tells us that eco-cement, when this happens, when this absorbed oxygen, absorbed carbon dioxide, the absorbed carbon dioxide, when it reacts with the cement, eco-cement is strengthened, becomes more strong. So this is a good thing about eco-cement again, right? You'll think that, okay, eco-cement has this characteristic of absorbing CO2, which in turn is strengthening it. You are right there. This is something that supports the use of EC. But does this choice support this conclusion that if we use eco-cement, the atmospheric concentration of CO2 will reduce significantly? The answer is no. This choice just presents possible benefit of using eco-cement. It does not support the conclusion. You can see that this benefit is actually an additional benefit of using the eco-cement. It in no way it conveys that eco-cement, the use of eco-cement, will help us reach this target goal of reducing the atmospheric concentration of carbon dioxide, and therefore this additional benefit does not increase our belief in the conclusion. So this is a learning for you. An additional benefit may not always strengthen the conclusion, which is about something else. So if the conclusion is that doing A will result in B, and you get to know in answer choice that doing A will also result in C, which is a good thing, then this may not necessarily strengthen this conclusion unless this conveys that C will lead to B, right? So additional benefit may not always support the conclusion. This is one of the most commonly tested traps in strengthen questions. So with this, let's update our bridge table. So again, if you selected choice B, you need to understand whether you understood the meaning or not, and were you able to gauge the alignment or not. Whatever is the root cause, you need to mention it here. With this, let's move to choice C. Choice C. Before the development of eco-cement, now we are talking about the time before eco-cement was developed, magnesium-based cement was considered too susceptible to water erosion to be of practical use. So this choice is conveying what is the meaning? The meaning is that before this eco-cement was developed, the other magnesium-based cements, they were not considered useful. They were considered susceptible to water erosion. So they were not considered to be of practical use because of these reasons. Now, the conclusion is about the use of eco-cement, whether or not the use of eco-cement will help significantly reduce atmospheric concentration of carbon dioxide. This choice, which is about other magnesium-based cements, what were the issues with these magnesium-based cements, in no way supports this conclusion. It does not make us believe more in this conclusion, and that is why this choice is also incorrect. If you selected choice C, please go back to your bridge table and update your bridge table. Let's move to choice D now. Choice D. The manufacture of eco-cement uses considerably less fossil fuel per unit of cement than the manufacture of conventional cement does. So now we are talking about this process of manufacturing these cements. One process is for manufacturing the eco cement, the other process is for manufacturing the conventional cement. What does this choice say? That this process uses considerably less fossil fuel per unit of cement. So here, if 1 unit of eco cement requires 10 units of fossil fuels, then 1 unit of conventional cement would require maybe 50 units of fossil fuels. Right? This is the comparison that is given to us. This is considerably less. All right, this is the meaning. Now you need to understand the impact of this choice. Because in strength and weaken questions, the impact is very important. You will not always be given something which directly supports or weakens the conclusion. You have to understand the impact of whatever is given to you. How will it impact the conclusion? So let's see how this choice impacts the conclusion. So we know that with this example, we know that eco cement 1 unit is taking 10 units of fossil fuel, and conventional cement 1 unit is taking 50 units of fossil fuels. Now, do we know something about fossil fuels? Yes, we know that carbon dioxide is released by the burning of fossil fuels. So if the conventional cement uses 50 units of fossil fuel per unit of cement compared to 10 units of fossil fuel per unit of eco cement, it indicates that conventional cement manufacturing may be generating more carbon dioxide. In other words, eco cement manufacturing may be generating less carbon dioxide compared to conventional cement. Now, what does that mean? We already know that eco cement will absorb CO2. So, this is already a good thing. This will already help reduce CO2. Now, we get to know that it will produce less CO2. If we switch to eco cement, the CO2 produced will also reduce, which is again a good thing, which is again something which will help reduce the atmospheric concentration of CO2. So that is why this choice supports the conclusion that yes, use of eco cement will significantly help reduce atmospheric concentration of carbon dioxide. Now you can see how this choice, it adds to, it makes us believe more in the conclusion. It brings in new information, right? It brings in new information and it makes us believe more in the conclusion, and that is why it is the correct strengthener. Keep in mind that a correct strengthener does not need to prove the conclusion to be correct. It just needs to increase your belief in the conclusion, and that is what this choice is doing. So in this choice, we see that understanding the meaning and understanding the impact of choices is very important. Plus, the correct answer choice will bring in new information and it will make you believe more in the conclusion. It may not always prove the conclusion to be correct. Now, if you rejected choice D, let's get back to your bridge table. Now, you need to think about why you rejected the correct answer choice. Was the meaning not clear? Was the impact not clear? Were you not clear with the process that you have to understand the meaning as well as the impact? Whatever was the reason, if you rejected choice D, mention the reason here, because these are easy questions. The mistakes that you are making here are very conceptual or very basic mistakes. And if you do not rectify these mistakes, you will definitely repeat them in medium and hard questions. With this, let's move to choice E now. Choice E. Most building industry groups are unaware of the development or availability of eco cement. Okay, so we are talking about most of the building industry groups. Now, building industry, because we are talking about building projects only. So we are saying that most, that is more than 50% of these groups are unaware of the development or availability of eco cement. So does that mean that use of eco cement instead of conventional cement will not help reduce carbon dioxide concentration? The answer is no. Awareness is a different issue. It is a different issue. It is more of an implementation issue, that whether they will use eco cement or not. It will help you question that aspect. But if eco cement is used, will it reduce atmospheric concentration of carbon dioxide or not? That is something that awareness does not address. And that is why this choice is incorrect. So if you selected choice E, please go back to your bridge table and update it. So we are done with this question now, and you have your updated bridge table that tells you what kind of mistakes you made in this question. Hope you will be able to take the corrective actions for these mistakes and not repeat these mistakes in the other questions. If you need any help deciding the corrective actions, do let us know.